and welcome back to Let's Play Mother, aka Earthbound Beginnings. We're actually starting off in the Famicom version this time around for this video, because there's a handful of things, yeah, we haven't been here in this version for a while, but there's a handful of things I'd like to check out. First off is that the BB gang members have a slight difference with their sprites in this version of the game. They are smoking, just like the crows from so long ago. As a little bit of censorship, this cigarette was removed from their sprite in the English version of the game, and after Shigesato Itoi quit smoking himself in real life, that little bit of censorship was retained for all future re-releases of the game. Another little detail that I just wanted to show out, we just have to find the NPC who gives us the proper dialogue for this. I want to say they're right over here. Not that guy, but it's a red-haired girl with, yeah, right here with the ponytail. The Blah Blah gang members, that's actually a little amusing translation thing going on in the English version. So they're known as the Blah Blah gang and are called BB gang for short. Their original full name, though, was actually the Black Blood gang, and the townsfolk thought that was a mouthful, so they just called them the Blah Blah gang for short. So we have a shortening of a shortening in the English version. How hilarious. There is another sprite edit, or sprite difference between the two versions of the game that I also wanted to highlight before we move on, and that is actually with Teddy. Teddy in the Famicom version is very visibly holding a knife. Instead, in the English version, I guess they just considered that to be too violent of imagery, even though he still uses knives and blades anyway, so they just kind of airbrushed it out, and I guess he was making like more of a taunting pose in that version. Regardless, just another sprite difference I thought would be worth showing off. There is actually a pretty funny one that I didn't really feel like showing off, but if you ever are interested, look up the difference between the Dr. Distorto sprite in the English version and the Famicom version, and see if you can spot what the difference actually is. It is incredibly subtle. There is another enemy in the Rosemary Manor, actually, that we didn't run into at all in the English version, but he also has what is visibly blood around him in the Famicom version. It is called a Shroudly in the English version. Anyways, loading up another save state here, I want to just check out the alternate version of the Magicant Crystal Caves here, because remember, in the Famicom version, this has a completely different layout, and it's not exactly obvious where the dragon is in this version. As you can see, we are at the requisite levels to deal with the dragon now. We just need Ninten at level 25, and the dragon will rouse from his slumber. And, of course, going to get into every encounter, every which way that I can possibly get into when trying to make my way to said dragon. Remember, repel rings do not exist in this version of the game. Funnily enough, I haven't really had any reason to invest in repel rings. That present just has a magic herb in it. But yeah, I haven't had any reason to invest in repel rings. Partially, I just haven't had the disposable income up until now to actually afford them, but also I've just refined my route through the game enough that it really doesn't save me that much time if I invest in a repel ring. Although, at the very least, if you're leaving Magicant from the cave exit, having a repel ring while going through Marysville will deny enough encounters to allow you to get wherever you're trying to go before the encounter pools switch over. So, you know, if you are more willing to drop the money on them than I am, you will be able to enjoy that effect for the exact purposes you want, avoiding weak enemies that are of no value to you, not even bothering with guarding to get Grucho to reply. I just want to get to the dragon here. So yeah, in the bottom southeast corner of the Crystal Maze, that is where you find the dragon. But just so we know what he says in English, let's switch over to that version now. And here we are back in the Earthbound Beginnings version of the game, and I figured, you know what, why don't I buy a repel ring? Money is basically not an object at this point after we did our last major grinding session, so I may as well just splurge a little bit and get a repel ring. As you can see, you just use it and you will ideally avoid encounters. I'm not exactly sure how the game determines what you avoid when it comes to encounters. I believe the determination is relative to your lowest leveled character rather than your highest, but beyond that, I don't know the exact way the repel ring functions. As you can see, even with it in effect, we can still occasionally get into encounters, but that's another reason why I haven't really been investing in these too often. They just don't really work the way you might hope, so can kind of be a waste of $160, but it varies depending on the area, really. Anyway, And here we are at the dragon. Would like to highlight one particular PSI power we learned, well actually two that we will learn from the leveling up. First off, Anna has learned Life Up Pie. That is a variant of Life Up that can only be used in battle, and it heals the entire party for roughly 50 to 60 HP. Very, very useful for the final battle of the game. Level 22 is kind of the last level you want Anna to reach, because that's the level she learns it at. We also never really got it at a point where it's particularly useful for us, but Anna does now know Super Healing. The other power that I wanted to highlight is that, I think it's around level 23 or 24 that Ninten learns this. He learns Defense Up Beta. This hits the entire party with Defense Up, giving us a considerable defense boost, and that'll be very helpful for this guy right here. Feeling Ninten's presence, the dragon awoke. You must defeat me to earn my musical note. And yes, as soon as we are able to check him and rouse him from his slumber, the dragon draws near. What we're going to do here is have Ninten use his newly acquired Defense Up Beta power. We're going to have Anna set some psychic shields for us, and Teddy is just here to wing powerful strikes at the dragon. With Defense Up Beta, we should be able to survive this guy's attacks fairly well, and then once the PSI shields are in effect, Thunder Gamma. Ugh. Nasty damage right there. As you can see, that is damage to everybody in the party. And pretty significant damage at that. We're not going to actually get Anna to a point where she can use that herself in this playthrough, sadly. Next up, we want to hit Teddy with Offense Up. We'll have Anna use Life Up Pie to try and heal the entire party, presuming that she doesn't get taken out by any attacks herself, which is a very real threat. But because we have the PSI shields up and the defense up in play, and we have protection against his fire skills, which he's generally more prone to using. Okay, oof. There was a very outside chance that he'd deal enough damage with that to take out Anna, but with Life Up Pie, we're able to resolve the damage quite effectively. Now, take a look at how much damage Teddy is going to be doing once his attack comes around. There we go, 219 damage. Crazy stuff. Good stuff from Teddy. You could also offense up Ninten, but by the time he'd get a chance to launch another attack, we'd already have torn through the dragon. I'll just have Anna guard to make sure she doesn't get smoked by anything. But yeah, the dragon would already be done by the time Ninten would get to launch an attack. Teddy's defense gets decreased there, but it's no match for the power of the PSI shields, nor the additional defense that Teddy got from the Defense Up Beta. And there we go, the dragon is defeated. To get the melody from the dragon, you just have to talk to him after defeating him. The dragon crooned a tune without much hesitation, and the song went something like that. Ninten remembered the tune. We're at 6 melodies, and we're heading towards the final area, so you know what that means. 2 of the melodies we need must be in the final area. Now, with that little detour of side business taken care of, let's move on to, well, some additional side quests. There are a handful of side things for us to do before heading off to Mount Itoi, all of them revolving around us being stupidly rich, and I have pulled out $9,000 for the purpose of accomplishing these tasks. We got all the money we could ever need from doing our last bit of turbo leveling. Let's go back to the Marysville lab. If you remember, this guy sold a bunch of overpriced crap that we couldn't afford when we were first here, and he's never going to develop anything new, so let's look at the old list. We've got the last weapon, the Super Bomb, the Sticky Machine, and the Real Rocket. Now, the Sticky Machine and the Super Bomb are actually functional, but only usable by Lloyd. If you forget, the Super Bomb is just an insta-kill to all enemies that are not immune to PK Fire Omega. The Sticky Machine attempts to freeze the enemies. I'm not sure if it has any kind of standard checks against enemies' resistances. I tried using it on a car once and it didn't work, and I was a little disappointed. The other thing we can buy is another thing that is usable in battle, not specifically by Lloyd, the last weapon. Please drop in anytime. I'm always working on a new invention, so the last weapon can only be used in battle, and we'll see what terrifying effect it has when we can get out into a battle. For now, let's buy the Real Rocket and see what that does. This is Real Rocket, right? Thank you. That's a big help. Here, let me show you how. Just take this switch and... oh no! I pushed it by mistake! Whoops. It's gone into orbit. A success. Sort of. Yes, that is just an instant lose $3,485 button. Next up, let's get into an encounter and see what terrifying effect the last weapon has. I'm trying to get into an encounter and my repel ring still seems to be working. I'm wondering if the repel ring just doesn't work in Magicant, because it never seems to have any effect in there, but when I'm outside of Magicant, it seems to work quite well. Regardless, I just have to wait for this to time out. But hey, get a better demonstration of the efficacy of the repel ring at least. An adequate foe to try our last weapon on, a maniac truck. You can't now. Oh man, is this specifically a Lloyd thing? Well, we'll just have to save that for, for later then. Don't worry, we'll be seeing our pale Lloyd again in the future. With that taken care of, well, this has been pretty disappointing so far. Why don't we, actually, hold on. I forget, is it in battle, or can we just use it in the field? Did I just waste a bunch of my time? Let's try it in the field, just real quick. If that is true, push the power off, but remember to hold in reset. Yeah, the last weapon just tells you how to, hey, the repel ring has lost its mysterious power. The repel ring seems to last for a somewhat random number of steps. I'm not even sure what the base is, but I have had it last for variable lengths of time. But yeah, the last weapon just lets you know how to turn off your console without losing your save data if you're playing on an actual NES. So, you know, that is pretty terrifying. So, once again, we're 0 for 2 for inventions. If only there was something that could salvage this whole trip. Now, I'll admit, the last couple of inventions on display haven't been super inspiring, but trust me, when this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're about to see some serious shit. Well, not exactly what I was hoping for. Yeah, the time machine just sent us back to when the lab was destroyed. Well, I mean, at least, you know, we technically did get what we paid for. Oh boy, let's move on to the next set of side quests. Now, back in LA, the reason I withdrew such an excess of cash is because of this item right here, berry tofu, short for strawberry tofu. We need 3 of these for an upcoming side quest, so may as well have just withdrawn all my money ahead of time, although I suppose I would have been heading through the department store anyway, so I would have been taking myself too far out of my way in order to get more berry tofu. And for the first time in a while, I actually want to buy some bread. There's a very, very specific place we want to use this bread. We don't want to just use it right now, so let me see here. I just want to make sure I'm actually going to move the berry tofu over to Anna's inventory, and I'm going to put the breadcrumbs back in, or the bread back in Ninten's inventory. Again, there's a very specific spot we want to use the bread in. We don't want to use it right now. So, the only other thing to see in the vicinity of LA besides Mount Itoi is off to the northwest. To get to Mount Itoi, we instead need to leave through the northeastern exit. Did you read the sign? No, I did not. Why don't we get to that? Lookout Tower to the west, and a harbor to the north. More or less in the same vicinity of each other. Let's go check it out. There could be some interesting and cool things to see there. At the very least, we'll get to look out at the Lookout Tower. Hey, I remember this. We passed by this when we were on the Flight Plan C. Ocean View. Tourists, welcome. Well, I am a tourist of some variety. I once saw smoke rising from one of the islands. I wondered if anybody lived there. I should have looked through that telescope. Telescope, eh? Well, yes, the telescopes? Take this elevator to the top of the Lookout Tower, and indeed, we will find some viewing glasses here. I suppose that's good enough to, or it's close enough to telescopes. Ninten looked into the telescope. The shimmering blue sea stretched toward the horizon. An inviting sight, to be sure, but if we look into this one, Ninten looked into the telescope. In the distance, on the island, something sparkled. And yes, look through this telescope right here. A rocket will come down. If you walk into said rocket, they climbed into the rocket, and we get blasted off into parts unknown. Well, actually, we just get blasted off onto the island we saw through the telescope. They got a little doghouse here, but nothing of note inside the doghouse. At least, I'm assuming it's a doghouse. I guess I can't be sure because there's no dog around. Regardless, if we head into this laboratory here, have you ever tasted strawberry tofu? I have not. No way to buy things like that in this place. What if I say yes? If you find some, buy some for me, please. I'll trade something nice in return. Well, as it so happens... Oh, do I need to, use it in front of him? Let me see here. Let's, go into our goods here and use the berry tofu. Oh, this is strawberry tofu! Thank you! Here's something nice for you in return. And for our efforts, we get the words of love. Words of love? Words of love? I don't know. Well, let's go into here and see what these guys want. I look just like Abel, but I'm Baker. I also want to try strawberry tofu. Well, it's your lucky day. I've got some berry tofu for you in Anna's inventory. I'm so happy. Take these swear words with you. What? Come on, dude. We're helping you out here, and you swear up a storm at me? But yes, we now have these swear words. Let's pass those down to Anna real quick. And let's talk to this guy right here. I am Abel, the doctor's assistant. I, too, would like to taste strawberry tofu. Man, you guys do not have, you guys are not the most adventurous people. You all kind of seem to want the same thing. Thank you. It looks so good. I'll share some important information. Near the summit of Mount Itoi, deep in the lake, there lies a fantastic robot. I think it still works. A fantastic robot. One that hopefully we can use and it won't be used against us. So that's something to keep in mind. Now what exactly can you do with the words of love and the swear words? Well, let's go get into a fight real quick. When you talk to a fisherman, by the way, you can never get away. Speaking of the fisherman, if you go to the end of the harbor to the north of LA, you think I'm the world's greatest fisherman? Well, not quite that great, but if you've got a moment, let me tell you some of my fishing stories. And yes, the fisherman to the north of LA functions something like an inn. In the meantime, dawn breaks over the harbor. Well, at least we got recovered. I was a little wounded from the dragon battle and didn't really bother to heal it off, so I suppose that was useful. Alright, here we are. Let's have Ninten confess his love to this Starman over here, and Anna is just going to be swearing up a storm because of that, and Teddy will just be killing this Ultra Barbot because he's the only one who will not be killed by a reflected words of love. I love you! And if you use the swear words, I hate you! Yes, that is all that the swear words and the words of love do. If you want to share the love, or tell the enemy that you just absolutely despise them, see that their mere existence, hey, you've got the words of love and the swear words for both such occasions. That's all we really needed to check out with that, and I am going to throw those out because they are otherwise completely useless items. Hey, level up for Teddy. Teddy has got some pretty impressive stats, all the stats he needs at this point, really, to be a functional party member. So yeah, we're just going to eject the words of love and the swear words from our inventory, throwing away the very concept of love, and also throwing out a couple F-bombs while we're at it. There we go. Alright, let's get ready to go to Mount Itoi. Before we do that, just a couple things I'd like to highlight in the Famicom version. One thing I would really love to mention is, you know how I made a big deal of how I never got a flamethrower in the last video and it's not worth your time to go for one? Well, guess what? I got a flamethrower in the Famicom version. Go me. We'll have a nice little present for Lloyd when he returns to us. But the other thing I wanted to highlight here is a very particular item that I made sure to get a couple or a handful of copies of before moving on. Flea bags. I grabbed 3 flea bags. The girl in Reindeer who asks you to give her an item, you can infinitely give her items for infinite flea bags. Now, I don't care about these items in the NES version, but in the Famicom version, there's a pretty, well, maybe not well-known bug, but there is a known bug with these items where they are usable to great effect in a fight they are not supposed to be usable. So we're definitely going to check that out later. With that taken care of, back to Earthbound Beginnings. LA is to the west, and Mount Itoi to the east. Mount Itoi is our final destination. Let's go. Aw, man, you're still on about the BB gang members? Come on, get some more original material, lady. Now, as I've been saying, Mount Itoi is the final area of the game, and there's quite a bit to say about it. Now, this is just a story I've always heard. It's something that is frequently repeated if you read up about, Mother and Earthbound Beginnings, but note that I've never actually seen an interview or source linked back for this, so take this with a grain of salt. I've never seen an official source for this, but apparently in an interview, Shigesato Itoi confirmed that they had to basically quickly wrap up the development for Mother, and they did not actually have Mount Itoi properly finished or playtested when they put it into the game and shipped it out onto store shelves. So we're going into an area where it wasn't exactly playtested for balance, and there are going to be some rough spots where things might seem a little unfinished. More so in the Famicom version than in the NES version, but still something to keep in mind. One thing to note about Anna is in the grinding at level 21, I believe it was, she got the PK Freeze Gamma ability. This reduces an enemy to 1 HP, setting them up for a very quick kill. Okay, it's technically 1 to 10 HP, but it'll usually be somewhere in the range of 1 to 4 more often. The game does actually kind of prefer the lower values for PK Freeze Gamma. Very, very useful spell to have on hand. Unfortunately, Teddy is confused. Teddy's rock bottom force stat does mean he is very vulnerable to mental ailments, which mooks are all too ready to exploit. Hopefully Teddy doesn't do anything nasty, because if he decides to attack Anna, Anna is almost assuredly going to die. Okay, luckily he stuck to his guard there. And that would force a pretty quick return trip to Magic Hand. Anyways, on the way to... There will be one thing of note that we'll want to stop by as we are making our way there. Something very, very important, something that will help us a lot when we get to the final boss fight. One last chance to get some supplies. We haven't really had much in the way of generosity from the NPCs up to this point. I mean, I guess we got the ghost key, but this house right here contains a doctor. You ever get hurt? Come to my place. I have food, medicine, and a bed you can use. We're going to take him up on both of those services. We'll get some free Life Up Cream. This guy gives you infinite Life Up Cream. Just keep asking him, and he will fill your pockets with it. So, you know, in a manner of speaking, this is another infinite money trick if you so desire, even though there's nothing for you to really spend money on at this point. Life Up Creams probably would be the one thing you'd spend money on. But yeah, it's an even more efficient version of that than the mouthwash man, since this guy just gives you as much as you can carry. Let me see, I do want there to be 2 Life Up Creams in everybody's inventory, and I actually do want to clear a spot out of Ninten's inventory so that he has room for something later. Let's give the Super Spray to Teddy. We're actually a little full up on items here, so I gotta be careful with how much we pick up. Luckily, Teddy still has a good number of openings in his inventory slots. Hope you sleep well. And yes, we can sleep at this guy's house for free, so nice little base of operations we've got at the base of Mount Itoi. Delightful, delightful. To get to Mount Itoi, you just have to go a little bit east from this guy's house. I would like to say, don't get used to getting generous amounts of experience from the enemies in the upcoming area, because, unfortunately, when we get into Mount Itoi, the amount of experience we can expect to get kind of falls off a little bit. That is one of the various ways this area comes across as being a little half-baked and unfinished. Let's see, not here. We need to go a little bit north, but the entrance will be inside this cliff face. Of course I get into an encounter right on the entrance. Whatever. Heading into Mount Itoi, we first reach the Mount Itoi Caves. I must give a final shout out to Starfighter76, a prolific image map and contributor to GameFAQs who has contributed more than 5,000 maps. Good on him, good on him. I used his map to help figure out the layout for this place, but I've actually committed this area to memory, more or less, so you don't need to worry about me getting lost too badly here. First off, we want to take the roundabout path that I took to get to this present here that has the katana. This is Teddy's ultimate weapon. Now, admittedly, there is limited value to actually collecting this, partially because it's just a narrow upgrade over the sword. Let's take a look at Teddy's offense right now. He's at 158. If you equip the katana, let's see here, he will go to 170, so 12 extra points, pretty good, but not exactly necessary since he's already one-shotting most of the things that are actually worth fighting. Speaking of things that are worth fighting, this is not one of them, Cerebrums. These things are an absolute pain. These guys have a variety of PSI skills, most threatening of which is PK Beam Beta, which can deal upwards of 90 damage, and because they are as annoying as possibly can be, they will often roll that. That is the big reason I gave those strength capsules to Anna way back when, physical capsules, because that allows her to reliably survive that. We can also run into blue starmen, who are basically starmen, but blue. They have about 100 HP and slightly better stats, but otherwise are pretty much identical to the bog standard starmen we've been fighting up to this point. Another thing to note about the Cerebrums is that they have a pretty good amount of HP, about 160, I think, and they have absolutely monstrous defense stats, meaning that even with the katana, Teddy needs offense up to do anything resembling reasonable damage to them. It just takes so much time and resources to beat these guys, and the kicker is that their base EXP value only 90, so everybody only gets 30 EXP from them. I don't even think they give good money either. One thing to note about the runaway skill is I actually looked it up, and it is, in fact, just a flat 50-50. You run away 50% of the time when you use the runaway skill. A more threatening variant of the Blue Starman encounter we can get is, of course, 3 Blue Starmen. These guys, that being said, these guys are not too difficult. What we'll do is we'll have Teddy take out one, because with his katana, he is strong enough now to just one-shot these guys between the katana and his level-ups. It's a very good thing to see. Yeah, as you can see, these guys are prepped to deal a little bit more damage. Once that final one is taken out, we can just hit auto battle, and Teddy will slice this one in two. So after getting the katana, I had to double back, and we want to go into that cave that I just went into. Get another level up for Teddy here, making sure that he is able to preempt the enemies and just cleave them in two. Note that if anybody falls below 100 HP, also, we want to go this way and head into this entrance right here. Anytime anybody falls below 100 HP, you want to make sure to heal them up ASAP. That is the best way to make sure you are not just instantly blindsided by something like PK Beam Beta. Alrighty. Now I am going to go through the effort of collecting all the ultimate weapons here, because every character can find, except for Lloyd, can find their ultimate weapon here. Speaking of ultimate weapons, there is an iron skillet here. This is Anna's ultimate weapon, and it is by far the worst, and probably the one more than any other you could probably stand to skip. This is, I think, a 4 attack point upgrade? 4 offense point upgrade over the boomerang. So basically, it doesn't make Anna any stronger at all, because she still will only be able to deal 1 damage to any enemy. And also, I'm just going to litter and throw away the boomerang, as we don't need it anymore. Now, at this stage, we actually have a pretty clear shot to the end of, the cavern section of Mount Itoi. Don't mistake me here. There is a lot more to Mount Itoi, so be prepared, because this area is huge. It is massive, and also it is loaded with things that we do not want to deal with. As you can see, the Blue Starmen can use PK Beam Beta, and oof, we're getting really bad luck here. Yeah, look at that. Teddy just had his health obliterated. He has a maximum of 170 HP. Ugh, that's rough. But we should be able to take this guy out before he does anything else nasty to us. There we go. Looks like, yeah, he was ready for an attack there. That works out for us, though, because that means he's not gonna, well, he would have died, but on the off chance that we missed, then that would protect us from anything. I've mostly been cutting out my after-battle healing, because you don't need to see that, but let's get a good demonstration of just how powerful PK or Life Up Gamma is. Check that out. 167 HP restored in a single blast. Cerebrum, once again, we're just going to run from this guy. Not worth your time to fight. I did try fighting them. Yeah, there we go. PK Beam Beta, hate it. It's such a brutal thing. And the only reason Anna didn't get immediately torched by that is because I gave her those physical capsules earlier. An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of the cure, as they say. 95 HP should be sufficient. Anyways, like I was saying, after we get the iron skillet, it is mostly a straight shot to the end of the cavern section. We have just one more ultimate weapon to pick up, and thankfully it is on the way. So you'll see that cave, that entrance that we just passed. That is the way that we want to go, but if we detour a bit and head on to this right path, we'll be able to find something else for Ninten. Now, admittedly, all of the ultimate weapons, if you're just trying to complete the game as fast as possible, I would honestly recommend just ignoring them. It is really not worth your time to go out of your way to collect them. I'm just showing them off for demonstrative purposes. Now, let's have our team work through this nice short battle over here. I believe the Blue Starmen can still use PK Beam Gamma, but they generally prefer to do their other actions instead. The slight chance that Teddy could get taken out with PK Beam Gamma, but that's actually not that big of a deal at this point. Since Anna has access to super healing, we can just immediately get him back on his feet if he gets taken out, and we have more than enough PSI stones to fuel liberal use of that skill if we need it. Goodness gracious. Yeah, this is a reason why I don't like fighting these guys. They just have so many PSI powers that you can't really resist against unless you put up a PSI shield, and that drains your PSI points very quickly. Our last present is over here, and let me take care of these guys. Through the magic of cuts, I'm able to just warp us right to the present here. Open this one up, and you'll get Hank's bat. This bat is probably in reference to the baseball player Hank Aaron, still known as one of the best to ever do it. Most famously, he played for the Braves. This awesome bat was personally autographed. This is actually a little bit of a dub edition here. In Japan, in the Japanese version, it's just rather generically known as the best bat, though an accurate descriptor of its overall power. It is a 48 attack power bow, or bat, so a pretty considerable upgrade for Ninten over the boomerang, and one well appreciated. Should allow us to beat through these blue starmen a little bit more efficiently at this point. Of course, they can't really compare to Teddy just cleaving them in twain, but hey, not much can. Of course, if these guys just decide to ready themselves for an attack, that will just slow out the battle so much more. Not close to Teddy's attack power, but really, what is? We're so appreciative to have Teddy here. The blue starmen are worth 50 EXP a pop if you have a full party, which isn't great, but still gets us a couple more levels as we work our way through this area. Heading into this section of the cave, just make our way along here. Teddy has reached level 26. He just keeps ascending to new heights, and I'm all here for it. This chest here or this present just has a life up cream in it. Not something we need. I've gotten all the life up creams we could possibly want. Here we are on the Mount Itoi Plateau. This place is massive, and everything, oh god, grizzly bear, everything here is 100% not worth your time to fight. We're going to queue up 4th slip, and we're going to have everyone try to run. Oh no, here we go. Teddy's about to get mauled by a grizzly. Oh, the humanity. For the record, the grizzly can proc continuous attacks. He is ridiculously fast. He hits for 70 damage on Teddy there. If he got 2 attacks there, which he can totally do in a single turn, Teddy would have been dead. So, yeah, grizzlies, run from those if you encounter them. Fortunately, there's only one of them, so if you go with 4th slip and just queue up runaway, ideally you should get away from the battle. Gargoyle is one of the few things that we can actually fight here. This guy has access to PK Fire Gamma and Fire Beta, which is a little devastating, but not anything we actually can't handle, since we have our H2O pendants. If Teddy gets a smash attack on him, so much the better. But as you can see, tons of HP on this guy. Must be like around 200 HP, and he doesn't exactly give great experience for defeating him. There are other encounters that are just instantly run away if you get them. They are not worth fighting it out. We have to climb up these ropes to make our way around Mount Itoi. Once we climb up that very long one, we start heading eastbound and down this path here. Man, I really wish we could use Life Up Pie out of battle. Once you make that downward path, our next destination is actually our first major checkpoint on Mount Itoi, this house. So, before anything, walk up to the door of this house and use your bread to start dropping breadcrumbs. This will be very important in the very near future. It's also a good idea to use the phone here. It's been a while since we've talked to Dad. As you can see, I've mostly just been using save states to record my progress for this playthrough, so he's been totaling our bank balance for quite some time before I actually called back in to check with him. But yeah, appraise of our progress here, and we want to save here. If you save here, then if you get KO'd, you will be checkpointed here and warped back. And that's just fine by us, because we've got a healer over here. And unlike healers from earlier in the game who just unpetrify us or restore our psychic points, this guy, how happy I am that you came to see me. I know what you would like me to do. Here, as you can see, he healed us up fully for everything. Status, HP, and psychic points, this guy's got us covered. We now have a perfect base of operations here. What's in the back room, though? I'm sure you two would like to be alone. I'll make a few phone calls and wait out here. Oh, what? Teddy? What are you doing? You leaving me alone with a good girl? Oh no, I'm gonna make a save state right here. We need to check out alternative possibilities. I can't even look her in the eye. Oh no, what do I do? Oh, whoops, I actually screwed something up. Hold on 1 second here. What I was supposed to do was have the Onyx hook in Ninten's inventory. While I was just reloading my save to do that, I discovered something pretty funny here. You tried to ignore me, didn't you? I'm so lonesome out here all by myself. I will do anything I can. Here, yeah, the healer is not letting you get away without using his services. Then Teddy, once again, would like to be alone, and just leaves us in the back room. But I'm not gonna let a girl cramp my style. We're getting the heck out of here. Onyx Hook, take me away! And yes, you can actually abandon Anna and Teddy in that house. And if you do a very particular set of actions beforehand, you can actually go on without them and complete the game just as Ninten. This is the only way you can completely remove every party member from your party, and it is totally possible to finish the game as Ninten by his lonesome. Obviously, a much more difficult endeavor, though you'd mostly just be running from the battles anyway, so it largely comes down to just praying you can get 4th D slip off before the enemy turns you into a pizza. That's not something that we are really going to be doing this playthrough, but it is something you can do if you are enterprising. If you do reach the end of the game with just Ninten, the ending does not reflect that. It assumes you reach the top with the intended party. Anyways, we can't really properly progress until we speak to Anna. Ninten, please stay with me. Sure. Silence falls. Would you like to dance? Ninten, do you love me? Dost thou? Well, I feel a loaded question coming on, so why don't we just say yes? Oh, Ninten, I've loved you for such a long time. I've loved you since I saw you in my dream. Why are you two blushing? Let's hurry up and get out of here. Sorry to bother you two, but did you hear those loud noises? Kinda hard to miss, Teddy. Oh, those noises are coming from outside. Not in here, silly. And we are immediately thrust into battle with R7038. We don't have a tank this time, so all we can really do is our best, but you will quickly find out that even if you had put up some buffs, you're not really going to be doing too much more damage to this guy, and also, whoa, that's that is spicy. Now, it is theoretically possible to beat this guy. In fact, there are two ways you could go about it. One is that he could just miss everything. That's not super likely. Or you could grind up to a point where you actually have enough HP to survive his attacks, which would take an truly incredible amount of time. If you do somehow win this fight, you get to the same point as you would anyways. Zap! Oh shoot! I missed! Lloyd, did you shoot us with the tank? No, Lloyd did not actually shoot us with the tank. That is actually a mistranslation. What he's supposed to say is, oh no, I'm too late. He did, in fact, destroy the robot with the tank. We find ourselves in an unfamiliar location, but this is actually the doctor's house that was at the base of Mount Itoi, so we've kind of been warped backwards a little bit. Heading out into the room here. Brute strength is not enough to beat them. I know now that peace can be brought back to us. I believe. Hey Lloyd, now's the time you must fight for yourself. Now it is the weakling's turn. You stay here and wait. And with that, Lloyd is returned to our party. He does take his goods back from Teddy, and we've got a fairly useless sword in our inventory. There is nothing left to say to Teddy. He is too wounded to keep speaking. The only thing we can do is fight on and hopefully make sure that it was actually worth something. Now, we do find ourselves back at the base of Mount Itoi. Remember I said to lay out those breadcrumbs? If we use the breadcrumbs, we can return to the head of the trail and immediately be warped back to the healer's hut, saving us the trouble of having to go back through the cavern area. Alternatively, if you saved at the phone like I did, you can then intentionally get killed by the enemy, just let your entire party get knocked out, get warped back here, and then the healer will fully revive your party, in addition to restoring HP and PP. With that taken care of, we now have Lloyd in tow, and we have to ascend the rest of Mount Itoi. There is quite a bit left to go, but don't worry, we aren't going to be without any more power from we're not going to be without powerful friends. We just have to make it a little bit of the ways up the mountain, and perhaps we can find something that will live up to the standard that Teddy set. Unfortunately, Lloyd, particularly in this version where I didn't get a flamethrower for him, kinda gonna mostly just have to guard and tank hits for us if we get into battle. That'll be for next time, though, when we get into the finale of Mother/Earthbound Beginnings. It's time to send Mount Itoi and see what the final battle holds for us. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, though, goodbye.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined.